this could end up being one of those diverging pathways where a win here or a loss here ends up sending you down the wrong route. I think a lot of people have forgotten how good KRU were earlier on this year. That 5-1 record is not fraudulent in the slightest.
They had a bit of a slip-up, of course, towards the tail end of stage 1, but could easily find their footing once more. We set our sights onto this pistol round. QT just trying to tease a reaction there out of KRU.
No reaction given, though, off the turret being broken. Shy did not start to go back over towards C once the turret was broken. KRU, in fact, grouping up for a potential B hit. Reading that that's a fake, a bit of pressure being applied by JohnQT on the left side of the map.
Bring them down.
It's nice and cautious for now from Sentinels. Not running into any of these sides, just opening the door wide again, hiding the intent. Now the spike making its way over towards C, still with a heavy A robber control. This is 4 players of KRU committed over onto this one section. Sassy could open himself up here and potentially get punished with a horn, spotting at least 2 of them. Maybe now with that information, is going to be putting a bit of pace into the round. Not quite, still slowing it down now, grouping up, ready for the hit together. About 30 seconds left. Now, KRU are finally at least getting a few players over towards it. Shy might be ready to at least get a few spam. No, not bullets, not going to be sent. Going to be waiting for the rest of this team now, but they are in position to try and flood back in. It's board time for them. Here it is, Nade rebounding with the paranoia, sweeping through, connecting onto 2. The aftershock at least going to delay.
Cover going out.
It's a little bit out through Waterfall. It's a heavy committal into the back of the side here by Sentinels, and with Zekken falling early, KRU should be set up for this one nicely. Just playing this one together and already flooding through with the kills. Kesnet leading the charge for his team with 3 of them, just leaving it down to Zelsis. Nade forcing them out into the open, making noise already. He's got way too much to do, and KRU capitalize fully.
That's a really sick pistol round by KRU. All of that, mind games around forcing them into C and playing the retake over there, that's all cool. That's all well and good. But you see the difference in the duelist. Kesnet picks up 3 in the round, part of his team's retake. Zekken walked alone through spawn, and look how ready they are for this. Zekken did this same protocol whenever they would take C control. In the previous game we just watched playing against NRG, he would do that same push into spawn alone to try to take some area of the map. KRU are ready. KRU have been watching last week, and you can tell right from round 1. And have SEN been studying the KRU VODs? What VODs? We haven't seen them play in 50 days.
It's been a long time. Which is odd, right? It's been a condensed season. A lot of play, a lot of games being played in a rapid sense, but
like you said, Brent, they went out fairly early on in stage 1 playoffs, especially for a team with a 5-1 record. So they missed out on Shanghai and then had a bye in week 1 of stage 2.
Is there any danger here? Potentially just going up? Nah, not quite. Only 2 players still back up for SEN, JohnQT and Tens. No guns to do it, but back on that same train of thought. KRU have had that time off. Massive gulf in terms of the matches that they've played, so there is that semblance of unknown for Sentinels heading into this match. There's only so much preparation you can do. Pretty much full focus needs to be on yourself almost at that point.
And they've also changed their composition here on Lotus. So moving away from the Cypher Deadlock to a double initiator comp versus KRU's tried and tested. There's a lot of discussion right now about whether you should be playing the Viper or should be moving away from it on this map. More and more teams are trying double initiator or neon comps, but KRU's ideas baked into the history, the evidence base of this comp winning. And I think KRU are super happy to just lean into that, especially with how good Heat has looked. Playing an aggressive fade for them here.
This is a bonus round with quite a lot of bite on the KRU side. Definitely no slouches with the weaponry that they've got in their hands. Sentinels will the ground gain now over towards C, straight into the side. Zekken, this with a satchel movement, it's going to be given up freely. No one eager to really try and fight this one again. Zekken, he's maybe overstepping himself. No, straight through the box. They're all aiming for the 1 player, but unfortunately it's a 2-for-1 special out through Waterfall. What's the call now going to be made by these KRU players? Complete wraparound. They made their presence known. Now trying to fight through this one. It's a one-way setup though that Tens has popped up. Makes it very difficult to chew through. Prowler has to be committed, and a Prowler is going to be used. At least paranoia, I should say, in response for it. As soon as they get that kill, look at the discipline by Sentinels backing away.
Their plant's in a fantastic position for them to play over towards Mound. This is looking like an anti-bonus here with almost nothing dropped. There's
Say
one.
that, yeah, there's the reveal. Tens will get picked off, but there's no chances anymore for KRU to win this one. Sentinels have got this one wrapped up nice and pretty.
A break of the armor towards the end is the only silver lining. Exposing Heat getting out with the Vandal. A very clean round from Sentinels. And John Cutie is going to read the state of the game really quickly. I think if we start seeing KRU run full C retake setups, Sentinels don't have to use utility to go and take that area. Already, we see a slight adjustment from the pistol round as Zekken takes 2 players with him. A couple friends to accompany him as that push into spawn looks a lot more deadly. And instead of being suckered in, he's the bait that KRU fall for.
Could be a turning point in this round, though. Bit of money being invested for KRU. They do have a showstopper front B main. So Kesnit's going to be laying his eyes on. He's holding this one aggressively. He knows that he can stand his ground and fight this. Doesn't matter what util he's going to be faced with, so...
I think John Cutie's got a very nice read of how he wants to play these attack sides in general. Playing slowly, it's a little more difficult without the Viper, but I think it's necessary even with the double initiator compositions. The info game is just so powerful on Lotus. And KRU normally play it really well.
Risky to face that one wide of the Prowler. Does connect there. Heat! Sky has been magnificent. Melz is going to be backing him well up. Tidy with a reset. Still Sentinels might be able to persevere. A little bit of that gunplay coming into effect. So the 2v3. Baby door opened wide. Kesnit. What's their placement? It wasn't quite on point for that one. Shy takes the peek, takes the gamble, backs away now. Wants to try and play this one safely. 35 seconds, roughly in a round. Sentinels definitely have their chances.
And John Cutie is playing mind games over here. Klaus peeks. They could have already got into tree, though. That information just not quite good enough.
Making noise.
The footsteps, though, are going to confirm things. They're heading away from A.
I don't think Klaus heard it, potentially. He might expect it now, yeah, looking in the other direction.
Yeah, they're starting to leave off the site at the moment, and they didn't full clear tree. There's barely any time here for John to get onto the site.
10 seconds left.
But it's going to be Zelsis that gets the plant down. Klaus denied!
Oh, John QT, the savior, comes to his rescue. Could have been a plant an hour, could have been a round win just like that, and it leaves it for Shy. In a 1v2, Cam takes point, flash to follow. It's too much util right in his face now. Aftershock as well, slowing him down. Trip's going to be dealt with though. Shy just needs to isolate one of these fights here, but a jiggle of the movement, just offset, and he's dancing around him. John QT making Shy look silly.
What phenomenal movement there from John Cutie towards the end. And a player disadvantage situation. Heat did an unbelievable job to get them into a winnable position. But it's Zelsis' kill right there onto Kesnit that I think turns the entire round. Kesnit peeks for information, super confident in himself. No respect given, Zelsis shuts him down instantly. And from there, the 2 cerebral players on Sentinels can slow the round down. KRU now on a bad buy, looking to control rubble.
They're going to overwhelm this one. They do have the bodies for it. The John QT setup, just postured. Bluff called. But still, game plan seems pretty clear from Sentinels. They're going to play this one nice and slow at the beginning. Never really rushing into this.
The Haunt clears out C there.
My camera is
as Tens and Zek can take that space. And John is just trying to play as safe as possible. These angles are very difficult for the defenders to push into. So even though you know there's nobody in A lobby, we have full rebel control. The best case scenario there is just to kind of post up Melzer as he was in the prior round.
Cage triggered.
And then stack the rest of the map. SEN are worried now at this point, though, or they should be, because rebel control looks really heavy, and Kesnit's thrown an aid over there. But look, Kesnit's already off-site. He has the showstopper. This could still get dangerous.
Yeah, rocket initiation could be dangerous, but lands it just at the feet. A lot of damage done to himself here, but the rest of the team off-site. Kesnit, he's so damn eager. He wants to take the fight straight up. Swinging before the smoke was even bloomed. Shy in and through. Gonna be managed though, at least with his kills going even. But Kesnit, he's still alive here. Finally dropped to the ground. Tens. It's in an aggressive forward position.
Fight on the flank.
All sound cues taken away. And an important one. Melza winning it. That's a rifle taken away. 2v2 now. Rolling Thunder has to be committed. TP forwards. Tens. He's trying to get active. If you can at least take away this one player, Heat. It's becoming a bit of a problem here. Jiggling around, but the patience is immaculate. Melza did manage to pick up that upgrade, but double faced by Sentinels. They take back control of the round.
Well fought by KRU, though, considering that that was a half-buy round. They did commit pretty large ultimates into it. But I think we're seeing a pattern here start to develop on Lotus, that Sentinels are having to dig themselves out of some very difficult spots. That duel on the flank simply can't be going that way regularly, otherwise Sen are going to be in a lot of trouble. Tens was asked to do so much in this round, and he delivered for them.
Kaplan himself can hardly believe it. At this time, an actual committal. That's an interesting take here towards Rubble, right when KRU aren't really fighting this. Just two players ready to see them here with a paranoia. It's going to be used by Melza. Wants to slow this one down. A lot of noise being made by Sentinels, though. They want to make this feel like it's an A take, and they've left John QT posted into this position for a little bit later. Could be a nasty surprise.
But this is one of the rounds where Sen actually have Rubble control at the start. They've had to use quite a lot of initiator utility for it. And John must not get re-cleared out of this position and die. He chooses the safer option as his team pivot into B.
KRU definitely got players ready to receive this once more. Kesnet might even be there as well. Second, he's taking the lead. Still, he's going to be locked down in place. Can't hit the transfer in time. Kesnet tries to swing in and fight into them once more. Just can't got it with the reset. Now we're going to see another pivot straight over towards C. Klaus is going to be holding this out towards Waterfall. Does have a molly in his back pocket.
Slowing things down now, and Klaus looking for information.
Alt line. Should see it. Flash dodged. Aftershock. Evading most of it, yet still with the rifle now a TP.
Some amazing kills in these rounds from Celsius. Real impact frags. Not top of the scoreboard as far as I'm aware, but delivering on big ones. That one on Kesnet, this one in this round. Shutting down Klaus. Just putting his team into great spots.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, there's a few times that Kesnet has peaked where I expect, this is where he's going to get the kill that turns things around, and he just hasn't quite delivered. He, I think, is up towards the top of the scoreboard for his team, still fragging well, but in terms of the mid-round fights that decide whether a round goes in your direction or the other, that's where he's not quite finding his value. He had a re-peak here, where he ended up dying trying to stop the B hit from coming through.
Decisions made easy for Melza. Just got to save the rifle, obviously. Sitting onto the other side of the map here. Sentinels, despite a bit of a rocky beginning, now lead in 2 rounds in terms of the difference between these two teams, but it's just been a string of them, hasn't it?
Yeah, and this re-peak here from Kesnet, he gets one, and then goes for another, and gets shut down by John QT. John QT and Celsius delivering in a big way, and frustration and the crossed legs as well. Just all the body language seeming to indicate that Kesnet's not quite happy with what's going on.
His team still has faith in him, though. Melza's going to hand over the rifle, even though it's a weaker buy round.
And both teams fighting Rubble.
Yeah, might see a really heavy clash occurring finally. Kesnet, first blood. Let's draw it. Still a heavy committal by a couple of these KRU players here. And Zekken just due diligence shown. Is going to be clearing a lot of these corners and the boxes as the wall. They've got it. Ready here with a seized nade. Off to the back. And Celsius is pressed forwards.
That's lovely.
Down A.
Setting up Kesnet quite nicely for all of these fights. Still, do they choose to fight this one? Sentinels might be overstepping themselves, but risks need to be taken in this instance still. To spike drop down way out in the open.
There's enormous player advantage over towards Rubble, and the way that Kesnet has played it, it's just perfect. How are you ever getting that spike back? Look at the amount of KRU players just grouped up on top of the spike over here. It's ridiculous. I mean, you wouldn't be able to get that back with an Omen ult.
No, there's no chance.
Can't use that yet.
Well,
Every single option's watched for as well. I mean, what does Sen even go for, man? Look at this.
Yeah.
Doubled up watching Babydor, doubled up watching main. Kesnet's got stairs on lock.
If Sassy had a seize, he'd be able to catch the whole team apart from Kesnet in one.
30 seconds left.
I'm going to try and take the option out through the Babydor, but it's individualistic, isn't it?
Oh, what
One
else?
just can't really swing into it.
Has John spotted the fact that
There's no chance.
there's a whole team guarding that position?
Yeah, not enough time. So
Yeah.
Crew,
That's a lovely round, though. And Kesnick coming up with the goods.
10 seconds left.
He gets that opening kill, his first of the game so far in round 7. And then he's also part of a really nice Season Aid combo that flushes Zelsis out into the open. And I think, you know, so far the Rubble fights that we've seen have been both teams looking to contest it when the other isn't. When Sen wanted to fight it, Crew were not going for it. That's the first round in round 7, where both teams have really clashed. And here you see that the defenders, when they've got this many bodies in the area, it's just really tough for Sen to get anything done. Remember, they don't have an attacking Viper wall to cut up angles.
Exactly.
Crossfires are open. Interesting little, a pretty big round there to flip the economy on its head. Crew now with a good buffer.
I'm very curious.
Here.
And on the other side of things here, they know they're going to be trying to deny this ult orb, at least. They don't want to give easy access to Kesnet when he's one away from this showstopper, but just feigning. Like, they could be fighting over that A rubble control. Send that to util, send the cam forward, now over towards C mount.
It looks like they want to take the timing as Crew are still over towards A.
Yeah,
This is all about trying to beat the defensive rotates.
Well, the util, though, in the choke point.
And that's the problem. Can you beat it when there's all this Viper and Killjoy util down?
It's a big separation. Zekin is way ahead of the rest of his team here, and Kesnet is already in the fight with that kill, and a showstopper earned. It's even more cascading series of events here for the Crew players, right on top of the ball.
And that's why Crew feels so comfortable fighting A Rubble with 4 players at the start of the round, because they have nanoswarm setups, snakebite setups that delay that first wave of attacking utility, and then the defenders are already there by the time you get into your second wave. Second and 10 is completely isolated and shut down by Kesnet, who is now finding his moments.
Once more, these options are going to be removed. It's a fault line. Middle now into the side here, but again, look at this hold over towards Waterfall. Spam and util. Sent flying here by Crew. It's waves of it. Seeking to delay with only 20 seconds left onto the clock, and Sassy at some point will have to commit to this, and when that time comes, going to be at that disadvantage, if not already. Kesnet is ripping them, tearing them asunder still, spraying them through and down, but 9 seconds remaining, down into that 1v2, 7 bullets, and Sassy left the spot, can't claim it. Heat was low enough, 1 kill is all that's really necessary, but time's ran short. Well, a go there, now doubled up, swinging off the contact. Crew up to 4.
Wait until I blind them to strike.
A nice try by Sentinels, but this one of the few times in which they haven't been able to recover whilst down a couple of players. The 3v5 ends up being just too much for them to overcome. So you got to say, nice try. This, though, is how Kesnet, got back in to this round. And I just don't think this adjustment is going to work. Trying to find fast-paced timings, the defenders are always going to have protocols for that, especially when you're going up against a team as good as Crew.
Shadows traveling.
Bring them down.
Crew are eager to turn the heat up. Going to be meeting, receiving all that util. Again, they want to fight that, but the fault line just in time. So that just puts a stop to it. There's no casualties on either side.
That's very eager from Crew, and John immediately mops up the space over towards Rubble. If Crew are not fighting there, John is going to be there. Is there any level of a re-clear? I think it would be difficult without Melza playing in tree. Normally that paranoia re-clear is how you want to go for stuff like this. So Crew, even though they have mound information, actually I feel like they're in a worse defensive spot than they usually are, because they don't have deep A control.
Very difficult for them to set up any semblance of a re-clear. Making noise now with the door opened up. Deep cage as well.
We can see that this is probably going to end in a B split. And so Sen are just trying to drag as many bodies over towards A as they can. This is going to be pressure on Shy.
Alongside that, Melza, paranoia. Sweeps through, already to play. Sentinels into the side here. Shy, no chance for him to see if he can even it out with a nade. Rebounding into the C's. John QT narrowly avoiding it. Won't be falling. Not right now. Still a 5v5, despite all of it. He sends it through, at least with the eye. To be revealing quite a bit. A reposition of 10s just to be happening. No kills happening. Opened up as well with the door and a fault line to slow it. Klaus Might get picked off, just jiggling around. And Sentinels, they do have control, at least at the front section. KRU now, pace injected. Straight into things here, but an Neurofeth revealing, all still with the kills. They might be able to collect it and claim it off angle of Melzer. It's good and true, at least to find it, but time's still ticking, and the nade rebounds, lands, pushing them away, and no more chances at all. Sentinels.
A great post-plant played by Sen there. Celsius reflanks from his position in B main over towards A. And that fault line that you called out towards Melzer, it feels like it's coming from B main, right? But it's actually coming from Rubble. It just goes through the walls, disguises his reflank, and he's in blue room with an aftershock, and Celsius also has Zekken with a nade. How are you winning this retake when there's an aftershock coming through the wall and a nade coming through the wall? It just takes them too much time.
Yeah.
And if you think back to how Sen used to play this post-plant as well, with Killjoy mollies being thrown in and huge amounts of post-plant lineups, they've really refined those B post-plants.
You see it now. Be a bit of a tussle though over towards that C-mount angle. Somehow Melzer escaped most of it, but the trades are on point.
Cover going out.
Sentinels with a player advantage.
And KRU have changed up their defensive setup. They're no longer fighting as heavily over towards Rubble, hoping to catch Sen off guard.
And this one not broken.
But I think they fixed it before it was broken, to be honest with you, because this adjustment where they fought early B in round 9 and now they fought early C in round 10, it hasn't worked. Sen have had the advantages.
Stray shots from Shy.
Bring them down.
Hoping for a blessing in disguise there. Very difficult to get themselves through into this one already. Sen's committing that paranoia. Slowing down a step with KRU. That might help though. Already evened it up to 3 versus 3. Cage in their face still. It's slow and delayed as soon as that first player. There's no trade in sight as heat was dropped. Shy with just the Guardian can't do it. So barely a lead to KRU and gained here by Sen. Still holding on to it.
And winning the gun rounds. KRU have won the pistol and the follow-up, and then they won a thrifty to be able to get themselves back online in the middle. That's what you're seeing in the timeline there. They've only won a single gun round against Sentinels. John's calling and the great post-plant discipline and protocols of Sen are prevailing in these tough spots. Yeah. Now KRU knocked onto another thrifty, this time not with players stacked over towards A, so the danger not quite there for Sen. No. But Sentinels are going to play slow, and if, in playing slow, they end up finishing towards B, well, there's a nasty surprise for them waiting around here. Could this also end up being a mound crunch?
Yeah, it could be. Melzer has a paranoia. They're already pinging it. He's got the angle for it. As soon as some util is going to be used, turret contact perhaps. Yeah, that was it. That was a trigger. They want to send it flying now forwards. And there's no response in sight for Sentinels. Not ready for a second! Up and over the top. Just when you least expect it.
That's beautiful. And John's got the read. A is open. So KRU with a gorgeous trap play that nets them 2, and it could have been another thrifty. But it's not looking like that's the way this round is going to crumble.
Awareness off the charts.
Can KRU salvage anything with the 2 heavy hitters Kesnet and Heat have delivered all year long?
And the stage 1 statistically, I mean, those 2 guys side by side near the top. Even more impressive that Heat's been doing it with a roll shift.
But this one looks very, very difficult. I mean, again, Aftershock and Nade available for Zelsis and Zekken.
And already time, I mean, time's ticking. It's gone.
It feels fairly impossible.
You just can't commit. You have to save this, even though you've got the money to buy next.
Yeah, I mean, you have money to buy next, and it's the last round, though, so you might as well send something.
Let's see. Kesnet doing some damage to them at least, but already look at the position being played. Tucked. Safety for Zelsis.
And a couple there to boost the stats towards the end. Heading into our final round here, then, of Sentinels' attack side on Lotus. KRU have been struggling. I think they were doing best when they were controlling Rubble and ending with the C retakes. The dodge on the fault line is nice, but that splash all over Mound, it's like it's custom made to just scatter those fragments from the rocket in all directions.
Could have been a dismal round from Sentinels if Zekken didn't turn around the fade of it just with that one showstopper. Once more, we're going to see another clash. One more util is going to be accompanying it from KRU's side of things. Revealed. No one breaking the horn, so almost going down. There with the punishment, Melzer is lucky to be alive.
SEN don't like what they saw on that side of the map. And now with things quieting down over towards a rebel, Klaus pops his ultimate in this direction.
My ult is ready.
Could they send this with Nightfall breach ult? Yeah. Certainly looks like
Exactly what's going to be occurring. There's a slight gap towards the back of the site there with a nade flying forwards. The pit's going to be going down. Still, they have that util to the lake. Hesnet! Rocket forwards flying, but whistles right past and no casualties. Nobody falling still. Sassy, it's going to be late to the party there, missing the timing to take it straight past and through, and still
he has
50
the spike.
seconds.
I mean, if there was any level of a push out through A, you look how Zelsus and Zekken both coming back to escort the spike in case anything bad happens.
There's twists and turns in this last round in this first half. It's looking like they wanted to commit over towards B. Shy asleep at the wheel. A little bit delayed. Taking that spam damage backs away here with a lockdown. Now held into his hands, and this will be a bit of a problem. A sticking point for Sentinels. What do you choose to do?
Left.
You're forced into the B site. It's the only one really open towards you. Tens. Important job for him. He's got to try and hold down this B main angle, but he's being reflanked at the exact same time by Klaus. Sight. Finally gained. Sassy with a plan. Going to be sticking this one.
Spike planted.
Angles.
Whoa, the timing.
And a game of that timing, like you were saying, Tens versus Klaus. It's so damn important. Tens. He wins it out. The last two players known and noted. Melzer is on an island. Got to make a go of things. But nothing to his name to really work with, just a rifle in his hands. Smoke will dissipate. Here's the reload, but way too many targets. Surely there's an impossibility.
And Sentinels, 8-4 at the
Switching
half,
sides.
powered by that post-plant play. Incredible win rate for that. 8 out of 9 of their post-plants they converted. Against a team that wanted to play retake against them at the very beginning of this. And KRU are no slouches. Still with 4, they'll be looking to run it back on their own attack side. But I think Sen will be feeling pretty happy about that one.
Oh, yeah. That's insane consistency.
Clashed. KRU were down 8-4 at the half, multiple times ran it back with pistol bonus, and absolutely destroyed the hopes and dreams of SEN.
Yeah, these two wolves,
way
man.
back in 2021.
They've got that history. The matchup put KRU essentially on the map, I think, for the wider Western audience. Both of these teams started this year looking to really turn things around, have that redemption run. Can argue that they've achieved it to a degree, but the season's not over just yet.
And for KRU, I mean, yeah, they've achieved a great regular season record, but their performance in playoffs left a lot to be desired, and that's what they'll be setting their eyes on. They really need at least one big win to feel happy about their record and getting into playoffs.
Trip's broken. Sentinel's going to be alerted to this one. Now Tens is very alone. Stands his ground. Is going to be beckoning them even further forward. Do you dare take the fight against him? Paranoia has to go flying forwards, at least with the nade. There's no follow-up. No one's holding that angle because, again, the util is perfect. He's caught the timing. Slipped it around straight through behind. Almost at the back. 7 seconds there to deliver. A dagger to the back of multiple players. They just weren't expecting it. And KRU almost squandering this chance for them. Still, it's a 2v3. 30 seconds left. Spike still theirs, and Senna happy to give them a bit of space. A tap at a plant.
Looking to try to bait out that util. Hot and flash available for Zelsus and Sassy.
Shy has to back away from this one. Still, he might be able to do it. Tap goes the Ghost. Double tap alongside it, but Shy not able to claim one of his own. 1v2 now for him. Still with a haunt. Ready there, but he chooses and opts into the gun. Still out and ready. John QT. More of a man, though, for that matchup.
You see that headshot, aim punch,
Yeah.
flies onto Heat, and he's unable to land the kill on the other side. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of the decision-making there, actually, from 10 to second, but the quality of the players and the unexpected timing ends up working out. How does Second get another one in that spot when he's being faced from Tree at the same time as Stairs?
That is crazy.
The fact he gets the second is remarkable, and Tens has found the most ridiculous timing as Melzer has his back to him. Bonkers. The Second and Tens put their team at a player advantage in that spot,
there.
in my opinion, but it works out for them. And that's a pistol on the board. that is important, of course, because it gets sent up to 9, but also it halts a little bit of the momentum that Crew would have had going forwards to picking up big ultimates.
Yeah, not just that. I mean, Crew, pretty much all their round wins so far been off the back of the pistol round wins, thrifty wins. They lose this one. They haven't been looking too hot in the gun v guns. Sentinels have just been holding that down as their domain.
It's very true. And speaking of thrifty rounds and unusual things going in Crew's direction, Kesnet, Klaus has bought him a Guardian in this round. Pretty similar to what we saw from C9 earlier on and
Turned
some
him
of the
into a
Chinese
raid
teams.
boss.
Yeah, he's got full armor as well. Looking to try to take fights against anybody who might have an outlaw.
Well, grouped up, they haven't broken this trip. It's a deep enough angle as well. A lot of Util won't be clearing it. As they contact that, they will hear it. So it's going to be broken. Util held by Zelsys. The fault line was ready for most of this round, but doesn't choose to opt into it. Instead, they're just willing to give most of the side up to Crew. Only 30 seconds left.
And I think Sen should be
30
very
seconds
happy
left.
playing flood retakes with this comp.
Tap. Aftershock alongside the nade. Flies forwards and back and around. Sentinels still with the cam. They're dissecting this site and ripping apart potentially these chances. Still Crew. These are the classics in hands, making the most of everything. With Kesnet falling, he was the one with the weapon.
So a couple early casualties, but cleaned up very quickly there. Klaus is only going to be able to come into the next round with... Well, actually, I'm not sure how much utility he used in this one. They did get the plant down. That could end up making all the difference.
But overall, not looking too good for Crew. Economy going to be taking a hit.
Looked dangerous for a moment there.
Yeah.
Klaus even managing to get a kill with his classic is going to really help his economy. He should still be able to afford a rifle. Going to be stuck on a Guardian though. Had to rebuy some of that utility.
Oh.
About post plants, about saving as much utility as they can before they get into
There.
the site.
Time to work.
Nobody's going to be meeting most of this util. Sees the nade, the fault line, it's all going to be heard. At least by Klaus. Should be coming this to the rest of his team. I wonder they've got that hard and heavy commitment. Ten's playing for his life as well, just backs his way. Kesnet, jump spot, this is risky from him. There's really no support from the rest of his team. Paranoia forwards. Be safety in few of these players as a nade rebounded. Ten's was blinded.
That's very cool.
Yep, couldn't see anything. Straight towards the back of the pillar. John QT oversteps himself. He was eager to try and play off those kill trips that he had set up online. The angles was all being watched for there. So with two players dropping from Sentinels,
Spike planted.
limited options to play this back into this round, especially now with the spike planted for Crew. Get that extension.
It's all just about damaging the Crew economy here. You're not really expecting to win the 3v5, though obviously, if you can pull it off, it's ridiculously good.
Waiting for the horn timing. Now, the time to strike is nice. Straight through like a rocket second, but he is going to be brought down. Dropped in the process, hearing this rumble of the footsteps. Shy be collecting all the stragglers off on to the flank. Building up towards the ults.
That's pretty perfect there from Crew. You want to be building up as close as you can to an excellent economy, excellent ult economy. They were prioritizing the plant onto Kesnet, so he gets closer to his showstopper. One away from Nightfall, don't lose a single rifle. Barely even have to rebuy the armor. I mean, flawless in every sense of the word there. These are the kind of rounds you need in order to get your feet underneath you.
Gun round v gun round. Here's where the danger lies. It's going to be that clash and brawl once more. Now towards A Rubble. Sentinels seeing if they can be favored into this one. Deep TP by Meltzer, straight over the top. The Prowler really pushing him back though. The space is given up by Sentinels. They want nothing to do with it.
Right there.
Making the rotations.
It looks kind of difficult, I think, for Zelsys to anchor onto the A site. I would imagine that he's just playing this spot for information and then he backs off over towards Heaven. Sen are looking for any potential pivot towards B. as Crew, Klaus, the IGL who's picked back up the reins, calling a very slow one here.
Placing
Yeah.
swarm grenade.
The positioning of the Sentinels players, it's like they're anticipating it's going to be pivot over towards the B site.
But I also like that Crew are not really having to use a huge amount of util, although that investment...
Hearing it. There's a spam there. Still being held for, though, so the trade online, Celsius dropping him.
That's not bad. He did some good damage over towards Celsius as well. 43 health. But like I was... oh, hello.
War fight, yeah.
That's an important one.
That's being won, and it's going to force out that Nightfall. He had that one for a rainy day, and it appears that that has landed here and now. Prowler forward once more. Heavy up towards heaven. At least going to be double holding into the one-way. Oh, the bait and switch as the smokes drop. Still a 2v3 though, and the angle's not being watched for there. Not anticipated by Heat. Good patience, at least with the rifle play. Tens drop down to 45 health. But the spike ticking away. Sentinels forced to make that decision back in, keeping the guns for the next. Crew staying alive.
Big one. Klaus still running that Guardian, which is his purchase from the anti-bonus round. Hasn't been able to upgrade, won't be able to this time either. A weird situation. But this really does feel like it's about who gets that opening. You see how late that first kill is from Kesnit as well. That's another strange aspect to this map too. They've recognized that Sentinels are playing mostly a retake style.
Yeah.
So Crew are taking so much space before the first engagement happens. But just been fed this really cool stat. Crew have won every single round with a Kesnit first kill, and Sentinels have won every single round with a Zekken first kill.
We'll see which way it lands. This way, it's a fight to be taken with the showstopper. Zekken finds his mark and the target falls. Still, it's traded out. Tens can't overextend. Still has one more TP. At least for the evacuation, they will get out scot-free.
It's traded so instantly, and Sen lose mount control, and they have the eco advantage. Surely this is where that trend breaks down. Surely this is where Crew are still going to be able to convert in the 4v4, despite the fact it was a second first kill.
It's got it. Looks like it's set up for a slam dunk right now for Crew. 1 minute.
They're going to tap the door over towards A, and that's going to start to pull people off. You see, Sassy was thinking about leaving the C site.
It's a noise bait as well. Just a reload and a back pedal. Hoping that Sentinels will rotate off and around away from the C site. It's still... Got to imagine there's really no chances here. 40 seconds, Prowler reveals. Now going to be aware of things here with a showstopper running forward. What? Skims right past it. Tens still alive and active and still with that smoke up, but it will be dissipating any time now. Door opened up. Feeling like they're going to pivot. Heads are revealed and Tens now knows what the job is. He's got to try and put a stop to this one. Already footsteps rumbling towards him. He beckons them in straight towards the side. Do you dare overstep yourself? And a 1 kill found. 12 seconds left. Gun not in sight for John QT. Can't really seem to deny, but at least the aftershock will. Still spraying them down. 6 seconds remain. It could come down to the minute of differences and details. Still the smoke bloomed up in his face. Dropping down. Klaus nails it.
Hard fought. Great try from Tens on site, but finally the trend is broken. A big play from Zekken at the start of the round with his showstopper, but Crew respond with that advantage, with that lovely protocol to re-clear over towards Mound. They convert. What on earth was this, though? Kesnit gets ruined in that spot by somebody who's just running at him. Wasn't expecting that from Sassy. 7 to 10, though. The gap is closing. Crew getting dangerously close now to pulling off a serious comeback.
It is. And we were promised a real good match between these two teams. You just take a gander and peek at their standings to know that. Crew finally getting that momentum back underneath them. String of rounds. See if they keep the streak going.
So Shy probably going to be the player prioritizing the ult-op. Yep, he's got the lockdown, and Zekken's here ready to throw a nade and break it. Do we see that counterplay? Do they save it?
Second, just a bleed hold and potentially the util out into the open. I mean, Kesler just takes the fight straight up. They've flooded themselves into the site. John QT.
He's trapped.
He is corralled into the corner now, and he needs to win that fight out. It's not the case. Kesnid firing on all cylinders.
That's an amazing call from KRU. Zeken's on site with his nade ready to break lockdown. They use it in the plant to push back the SEN players and stop them from going for a flood defense. They've also got the Viper Orb lineup from Klaus so that they can play around that in Waterfall. Look at all the space they've gathered in Waterfall right now, playing off that Viper Orb. This is an amazing round call by KRU. I was talking you through the basics of like what most teams would do. All right, well, you get the ult orb, you have a lockdown. You know, you have the Raze on the other side looking to try to counter it. KRU are already one step ahead of the counter, and they burst into C before the lockdown. Really unexpected timing. Caught Zeken heavily off guard. And then also have that lockdown to stop the flood defense from coming through. I think that's beautifully called.
KRU are so heads up, hunting down the guns. They know how necessary it is that they stay alive in a SEN player's hands. Sassy, tucked tight, up close. A lot of pressure being applied to them, but they still keep them intact there. Have to see it in the replay as well. I think, like you said, it's a masterclass in terms of the calling. One step ahead, expecting that kind of reaction from Sentinels. Zeken wasn't even a util into his hands. He just knew that they had already hard committed, just tried to take the fight straight up.
Yeah, he just loses it. We've been talking about this battle between the two. Honestly, they are two titans of Americas. Last stage, we were bigging up that clash between Kesnit and Aspas, but Zeken always at the top of the duelist v duelist. And now the battle between the Omens.
Oh my!
Traded out. Neither team with smokes online. Klaus, though, is always going to be able to provide that secondary ability to cut off these angles, and especially with Pit in the back of his pocket, that could be amazing in the post plan.
Yeah, if he lays that one down, it's going to make that retake much more difficult. Zelsis is the one place into a tricky spot. He's got to come up with the goods, and he's got Zelsis at least second up at his back. Offsetting with the movement. It's the bait and switch, pressing the advantage further forwards. At least with the nightfall.
But Klaus fell. No Pit. As SEN continued to apply that pressure. And it goes down into a 2v2. I feel like SEN have been very good in these kind of positions, but they were always in the post plant previously. They always had that advantage of the spike being down.
And it's all been slow to a crawl. Sentinels wanted to take this one nice and easy now. Just the one player revealing their presence, but still doubled up side by side heat. Shy could potentially swing off. It is contact! Can't wrangle the beast. That is that rifle. John QT getting a move on. Knows it's down to the 1v1. Few straight bullets! Just missing. Going wide. It's Shy who dominates that fight. And now KRU, one more round to evening it up. 10-10.
What a comeback this has been. KRU's call-in has been excellent. The way that they fight over towards the site, and Kesnit again finding that opener onto Zeken, winning the Raze 1v1, winning the duelist battle, cementing his dominance late in this map. The comeback is on here. It's going to be difficult for SEN to stop.
Once more, skirmish over towards A rubble. Nade sees good connection, at least with the full line. Tens attempting to punish, just jiggling with it. The rifle in hand is doing the most. Already two dropped down. What is going to be the answer from KRU here? Surely you back away. Do you refight this? But the spike is hard committed. Kesnit is way ahead of the curve. The rest of his team cannot stand to it. Tens! Indomitable!
Difficult? Not for Tens! How does he manage this? His team goes for almost a refight over towards Rubble. They don't take the duel at the very beginning, and instead they throw a delayed haunt to set Tens up for that opening kill. Then once this machine gets posted onto the angle, he's locked in.
Locked in. Look at him, man.
That's they opened the door for Tens. But you got to think, honestly, in some of those other situations where Tens only gets 1 or 2, I think the rest of SEN were right there behind him. KRU are not going to commit to the Rubble fight. They've been scared off just a little. A small tickle over towards Klaus. Not much serious damage done.
It's the added element with the Odin spam.
Have we got a line up for a Haunt here? No, Sassy's
up
already
to it.
used it.
I mean, Zelsis has a chance he gets punished now, but already with the positioning, he's backed away. At least the Nightfall. He's going to scurry back to the rest of his team. Doesn't want any of the smoke, especially with Kesnit. Showstopper.
Look how well they're saving post-plant utility here, though. They have Pit, they still have Paranoia.
Yeah,
they
so
still
many
have the
tools.
Showstopper.
Exactly. Klaus, quick little tap. Showstopper now going to be used. Up and around! And the Rocket against the back wall. Just about claims tens.
Shut down the danger man of round 20 early on.
And now there's a fast play. Pace injected here by Sentinels. We're going to try and go quick into this one. Already with that spike planted down alongside the Pit. Still up, still active. The murky depths, you've got to try and wade your way through. Melzer, make sure to hold down that tree avenue and angle. Spray down with the Odin, not earning too much, and Heat might get tricky with it. Timing to be taken, and he does indeed swing right through the back. Just rips out the heart of Sentinels.
A slap back with ults. As the Showstopper stopped that ability for the retake to happen for Sentinels, and then the Pit is there afterwards too. Another good example of Crew understanding that Sen are simply not going to anchor the site. They're not going to flood defend, they're going to flood retake, they're going to wait for the plant to go down. And that gives you a timing to do stuff like this. Now, having said that though, we've seen two ridiculous rounds back to back. One an ace, one powered by ults. You're not going to see those very often. That bank has now been depleted for Crew, and Sen dominate rubble control.
Ult burn for Zekken. It's now going to be one step away, at least one kill away. Getting the big ult of his own. Game plan for Sentinels, pretty standard. Crew, once more, not even looking to turn up the tempo. They are just contacting through such a heavy read. Melzer's in there.
Yeah.
There's no one covering his back. They don't have backside control.
Yeah, I mean, look how good these reads are. As much as Crew... Wait, there's the catch.
And they've lost B main control because of it.
Having said that, I still feel like their post-plant positioning is pretty good here. They're looking to try to bait out a lot of information from Sen. But that ult is good. It tells them they're not playing heavy over towards site.
Rolling Thunder, second ping of things, points exactly towards the position of these players. Now the backside needs to be held down by Melzer. At the same time, flanking around. Second, ult earn, Rocket out and around. Sends it flying, lets it loose, but no kill. Still the damage is there. And a collection on all sorts of players. It's a feed filled up with blue. And Sentinels up to that 12th.
The ultimates fly back in the other direction there. The kill on the Shy ends up being so important. The neural theft gives away all of the positioning in the post plant. The breach ult didn't necessarily connect, but it at least got Zekken into a position to make this play. And the rest of the team takes all of that space behind their superstar duelist. No ults really across the board though. The game's afoot again. Sen only need one, and Zekken's picked up the operator over towards C. Nobody on Crew, though, looking to go in that direction. At least not for now.
End up walking straight back into it. The tipping point, potentially, of the map. With the money all evened out.
I think Crew have had a fantastic read on how to get into the site 12. Again, they find a site with nobody home. They can get a plant down.
Open for the taking.
They've previously been very good in the post-plant situations as well. That's how this comeback started. But Sen have found their way back into things.
They don't have position surrounding B main. In fact, Tens may have even just heard a footstep. He's overstaying it. He's making sure that he's got that watchful eye.
It's just
for the...
It's so common to go for the reflank.
Melzer sends it, loses the fight out. On the other side of things, Haunt, at least with the reveal, needs to be cleaned up though, and Klaus will finally fall. Sentinels, surely not like this. Number 8 earned, and with it rebounding, it sets them up. Skipping, hopping, at least with a shorty, still need to manage it. Heat, it's down to the wire, John QT! Sticking! What a way! What a Red Bull clutch from Heat there!
I thought we were going to see the end of the map in unbelievable fashion. Gotta be down to the milliseconds there. Barely any time left for him to pull off that Red Bull clutch.
Could not get closer.
How did Zekken pull this one off as well? Where's the nade kill onto Melzer come from? And the second nade allowed him to kill Shy. Required heroics. But we're into the final round of regulation.
All or nothing. Barely any time to breathe. But the Heat buys him that lifeline, a player who has absolutely stepped up this entire year, revitalized KRU, set them on that road to redemption that they were hunting for at the beginning of 2024 still. Util going to be used, making sure to clear this site. Wide and open, a heavy committal. They've lost control of the flank. Might be looking for a brawl.
Is this a fight on the flank?
Not too sure. They hear all the footsteps. Klaus! No gun in sight. Still with the ults though. Yep. The Knight's out here. How do you fight through this? Nightfall forward. Shai is ahead of it. TP back and around. Melzer, what can you do? Cleaned up again. It's a 2v4. And the issue's been forced. KRU. The only side accessible, you have to go towards C, but I don't even know if it's cleared out. What a call by Sentinels.
And KRU, for the first time, hesitating.
Spike planted.
They've managed to read the empty site every time on their attack half. And this time, they hesitated. They double guessed.
Doors open. Trepidation in the aim of Heat. All this to drag it to OT. Gets it with the ult. Sees the paranoia. That's loose. Now the fuse gonna be turning. Rocket sails past. And one will remain. Heat. Surely you can't do it. Tapping away. Cannot dodge it. Stand up. And Sentinels. Barely.
Has just been such a great map for Sen. If you look back over the course of the whole year, this was the first map where they really developed those extraordinary retake protocols. And here they come into it with a Viper wall over towards B, denying a bit of info, and Zekken straight up mid.
Unbreakable trip, surely gets removed. No, not quite, still lit up. No one was stepping into that one. Still Zekken. Wins that fight out, maybe the second. Definite damage done, but Kesnit reigns supreme, wins out that matchup.
And there's the clash between the two duelists. Both of them landing headshots. It purely just comes down to the gun differential. Kesnit goes back over for a heal. So a player advantage. But Sen should be able to get the plant down.
KRU not set up for anything fast, no flood attempts. It is Sentinels who have to take all the risks. That's what you're seeing right now. Sassy's positioning, doubled up, not making any noise. They're straight past it. Plenty of heads, plenty of targets, but spraying away and praying, hoping for any sort of opening. But the weapon picked up, betrayed by it. Sassy, not enough bullets left to do the job. Celsius, right click. That's a bit of a blessing, but still, Kesnit can stick this defuse with safety in numbers. A pistol round win in sight and on the board now for KRU.
Bit of a fumble at the start of the round for Sentinels Protocol dealing with that trip in mid. It's a very common trip. You're going to see both teams run it. Not 100% of the time, but pretty often. And Zekken catapulted himself into it, got into a safe position to break it, but then didn't, and John ended up walking into the same one. A nice try in the post plant, in my opinion, even though it looks a bit dodgy from Tens and Sassy. They just couldn't quite spot those heads through that tiny angle around the smoke. So KRU pick up a pistol, start to get things going.
There's been a lot of deliberation as well about meta changes, shifts and away. Still that trip causing problems.
Spike down A.
You can play safely on top of this perch. This trip is getting so much value. Somehow just chewing them all up.
One enemy remaining.
It's pretty evident the team's not really too interested in playing split as a map. Trying to avoid it, obviously, with it going to be leaving the map pool soon, or even putting any much more time in it, you know? It's a bit of a waste to really innovate past on what we've already seen this year.
And at the same time, you get teams like this who are very confident on what they've already done earlier in the year and relying on that.
Yeah.
It is a little concerning to me, even across 2 rounds here, that we've had 4 people caught by trips on Sen's side.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep an eye on that. It's not necessarily a problem just yet. Klaus setting one up over towards B. This allows him to get good information over the top of Zelz's Viper setup. And that trip deployed in mid again. Sen are going to hear that.
It's really tricky to remove. You have to hard commit into it, or at least use some util.
Yeah, you can use nade, you can use satchel. You can try to get into it with a dog or something like that. And then swing it yourself to break it. KRU putting 3 players in mid now.
So Molly committed.
Yeah, that's quite nice though, isn't it? The idea of putting a vulnerable onto somebody that would be in that corner and killing them with nade. Zekken gets it.
Yeah, takes care of the problem.
Waiting for that first defensive cycle of Kesnit and Shy prodding in that area. The Viper Orb goes down, and then Zekken can break the trip fairly freely.
Scout destroyed.
Sassy realizes now that A is fairly locked off here
There's a
as
fight
well.
over this as well. He knows that there's a hard committal by Melzer. Just holding that one close. So Sassy's entire intention here was to try and fake like there could be presence over towards A.
Kesnit versus Zekken again in B heaven.
It's going to be an important one. Sassy's still trying to make this one feel and at least drag those players and keep them tethered
30
over towards the A
seconds
side. Meanwhile, Sen seeing if they can at least get this plant down over towards the B side. Bonus round conversion potentially there. Crew still not out into the open, but tucked into the corner. Tens, but he saves the day. Kesnit though, there's a timing with the Guardian. Oh my! Trapped into the corner, rifle away. Zelsis finally wins it. Leaves it now to a 2v2. Doubled up, fades away. As the curtain drops, the stage is definitely set. No way, precision! Didn't even play a bloody part, but the bullet's running dry. It's Crew who convert the bonus.
That's got some of the sloppiest rifling in that round we've seen in the whole match. Kesnit was rewarded and denied by the Guardian in his hand. I think he got an accidental kill while he was shooting the player running away. Then couldn't land one onto the person default. Crew come away with a bonus in the most bizarre of situations. Look at some of these kills.
That's strange.
Zekken obviously throws himself in there trying to make space for his team.
No.
But this one felt like it should have been a kill, didn't work, and then this messy fight up towards heaven. Look at him. It's all smiles, all giggles on this side of the stage. It won't be on the other one.
Dying, man, they're losing it.
Yeah. I mean, you've got the best players in the world, some of the best aimers we've seen.
Oh. An early punish onto Klaus and even further. Zekken steps forwards. Lays claim to the A site.
And what a decision for Sen to force up here.
Certainly could potentially be risky, but enough rifles in play that felt like it was worth the risk. Looking like it. Essentially a round win. Kesnit.
Melzer's the only player that could do anything in this round. But he'd have to be gifted some free kills here onto Tens and Zelsis.
Surely you don't go for this. Surely you don't, but okay. Take the swing. You do have money in the back pocket if you are Crew.
Yeah, they've got a
You are
lot.
looking to damage the economy, so...
I think from Crew's perspective, they'll be surprised they didn't damage the economy enough in the previous round. Sen, you know, had got themselves into a decent enough spot that they felt comfortable. I think they came into this round with 2 Guardians and a Bulldog.
Yeah.
Something like that. They full forced into it and immediately caught Crew sleeping on the job.
I survived.
Zekken opened things up, tore his way in through A.
Now, it's one way to deal with the trips.
Yeah, just kill the Cypher outright.
Exactly.
Yeah. Klaus cannot give his life away that easily. But at the same time, you don't really expect to see a player on Sentinel's side just bully their way in through A main like that. Melzer is opping on defense side.
Okay.
Now that's an unusual one.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And Zekken did take a face into A main there without really, you know, too much behind it. So maybe they're hoping to punish what they just saw.
The slow siege here being played by Sentinels.
Same trip is going to cause them a bit of trouble. But we've seen Crew's protocol is to put up the orb, think about crossing Shy over towards B heaven.
Needing a flash. Push them back away, give some space to at least break that trip, so you can see the protocols in play, the cogs are turning, and ahead to the Sentinels players.
Yeah, and both of these teams seem very comfortable around how they want to operate in these spots. And when you have 2 great teams clashing like this, sometimes it is the unexpected that tips the balance, like Zekken being able to pick up 2 in the previous round. And this unusual decision of Melzer picking up the operator may end up paying dividends yet.
First time a flash was used by Heat in this round, but now surely, yeah, there's the timing. Sending it. He's with the Trailblazer, still locking it down, not stunned up. And now, surely for the taking, Heat is hopped up onto the angle, seeking the support, but doubled up and gone for it again. Kesnit arrives at the party, heavily late, but maybe potentially there still. With a rocket gun flying, Sassy with brute force, can't make it happen. Tens just on 45 health. Spike is dropped in the middle of nowhere. Klaus cleans up.
And if it is the unusual that ends up turning the tide in matches like this, what could be more unusual than the Omen anchor playing over towards A with an operator down that line?
That's bizarre.
And that plays into the way that Sen like to take angles. Zekken is facing there with the dog at his feet. Zekken's timing and coordination is very, very good off those Trailblazers, but it doesn't help you when there's an operator on the other side. A shutdown. Zekken not able to get anything done. And Sen forced to hit the drawing board again. Zekken's picked up the Bucky in this one. He's going to be going fast with the showstopper, surely. Are Crew ready?
It's got to be a quick play. Yeah, of course they're ready. Melzer is the one taking the earliest peek. It's an over-the-map nade. Full intention of it to try and break some of those trips as well, but trips are not what's waiting for you. It's the Crew bodies and players stacked up, ready just to deliver that final blow.
You saw the timing there. Tens was ready to swing off Sassy's flash. Kesnick got in front of it. Preempted that timing.
Here.
Gets a kill. Crew are playing immaculately so far.
They've missed the timing here still. Celsius creeps up, will reveal a little bit of their hand.
Now, why have Crew got 4 players A ramp currently? Really, just to guide the neural theft into position.
Gives them that info, stacked up towards mid. Full marathon sprint now, rotations abound. You see that Trailblazer spotting at least the one, gonna be broken, still the cam. It's gonna be a problem. Has to be broken. Zekken pulling out. Finally, Sassy does win that fight out through CT.
There's Pit here, the showstopper.
Very committed showstopper, and that's just to buy them time. The fuse, it's gonna be burnt down to a crisp.
They're looking to try to win this 3v5, and Crew gave them the B site.
How do you play this one into the pit? Melzer drops back, he's looking for the rifle. He knows it's useless. Carrying that operator into the pit. Paranoia sweeping through. Shots are fired. It's blind luck that really stands a chance right now for Crew because they just need one to be on the board, but everybody topples, everybody falls. Player disadvantage, man disadvantage. Did not matter for Sentinels in that spot. Not when they were set up like that.
Thus far, I've been really impressed with the way that Crew has called. I think they've had great ideas on the attack side and the defense side, but I'm a little baffled by that decision to stack 4 players over towards A ramp, give up every piece of map control just to get a Cypher ult off and know that you've lost the B site.
Let's go, boys.
Nice recovery. Nice recovery.
It's okay. That's my bad.
Evil hard committal for the Neuro theft, or maybe just expecting, like they had a hard read that it was going to be a contact clear again, or...
I mean, even with a hard read,
re-hit.
at least put somebody...
You know, Crew the time to stew and think about their mistakes.
That's a great point. Coming out of all of those rounds as well, you always see Kesnit having some kind of big emotional reaction. Shy gets caught at the start. Great shot.
Oh, man.
There's still an eco round, though, remember. Kesnit with a hero rifle, but the others are all ready to buy for round 8. So Crew have not invested heavily. It's always Kesnit, though, like I'm saying, it's like reacting out the back of one of those disappointing moments. He wears his heart on his sleeve.
He does.
He's the kind of player that demands respect and gives none of it in return. But just by virtue of being such a superstar, he's able to create openings for his team, and I think he's got a real chip on his shoulder, too. Because of the fact that so many people have forgotten that Crew are a dangerous team. And Kesnit's a top-level player.
This team definitely build around him. Make sure to invest a lot of these guns and rifles. Zekken played spoiler in this round.
He's about to get another showstopper.
Yeah.
He's got the plant. He only needs 1 kill or a death. You just send Zekken running forwards to try to take another fight.
Might as well
as
go
he's
hunting.
about to, into heaven.
Exactly.
And either way, they have an enormous ult for round 8. That's fine. Zekken now has ult. No worries whatsoever. As long as the Sentinels are still able to convert the 4v2. And I think it would be tough to lose. Kesnit also is incentivized to try to keep a rifle online, though he's not going to be allowed to.
Loses it.
450 credits.
That's the thing with that investment. Melzer's got to try and save this one here, the weapon pickup. And he's going for the spam. Oh, you take this fight, Melzer? That's crazy.
That's bonkers.
Okay.
He's going to get away with it, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. Don't try to run away. Take the fight to 10s.
That's brave, but Shows that they still have that confidence at least. And that they can win those fights.
But yeah, this next round is going to be a barn burner. Crew have got their rifles back online. Their defensive setups were working really nicely, but now they've got to deal with Zekken heating up with an ult on the other side.
Yeah.
That is tough.
Question now for Crew, how do you adjust your setup? Anticipating a showstopper.
Yeah, and they've
It's
got
nice and slow at the beginning, but
trips over towards A, and Melzer's going to be anchoring B.
fakes a TP.
Yeah, I like this as well. It's probably going to make Sentinels use more utility over towards B main, and Crew are just hoping to have a better idea of where this is going to end. The earlier you get the idea of where the showstopper's coming, the more you can avoid it.
Poison's off.
Shy with a reposition. Curtain drops. That is a little bit messy. Still Celsius.
Beautiful snake bite from Zelsis kept Kesnit back. Kesnit could not trade that because there was a molly at his feet.
So full control of B main. Klaus now left alone.
They found my wife.
Everybody going to be quickly pushing themselves into his position here. He's holding it quite far back, not exactly committed. And Zekken hasn't had to use a showstopper. He's got himself into the site now, into this post plan. An important tool is going to potentially win them the day, and as soon as he hears that util come in flying forwards, Sassy with a flash, and the ult alone is enough of a sticking point. Look at it. Trepidation in the step of Crew. They don't want to overstep themselves. It has bought a little bit of time. Still without heavy control. Revealed up. The options are narrowing. What can Crew do but save again?
No way! They're going for the save in the 4v5 retake.
Yeah.
Wow, that is unusual.
That's a lot of respect. A lot of respect for Sentinels.
They didn't even try to fight for screens or fight for A ramp. That's the other thing. They just called the save while they were all still in A lobby.
Yeah.
I mean, that is huge amounts of respect. If you're not even going for retakes when Sen, you know, pops some level of post-plant aggression, just a rocket gets popped, or they try to fight somewhere aggressively with a paranoia, if you're going to give them that level of respect, you're just not going to win rounds against this team.
No. It's going to be playing into Sentinels' heads. They're going to be sitting in that spot, that position, wondering, where are they? Where are they at? And then the realization, I mean, it creeps in that they've saved in a 4v5 in that spot, and you're like, okay, well, these guys, they're not playing with confidence.
Yeah, and look at how the game has shifted. 4-4. Sen are right back into this. And almost, you would say, with the advantage. Crew looked like they were dominating at the beginning of this map.
Mid control's been the name of the game so far.
Yeah, and I think the Klaus has done a good job of fending off Zelsis over in this side. But there's just so much pressure all over.
Satchel doesn't get shot and broken, breaks up the trip into mid, so everything's really being dealt with. Melzer, he's got deep control of A main, but that's pretty much it.
So they've broken both of Klaus's trips, and now Klaus is going to be asked to do the most.
Hooked up to the side, just trying to dodge this Trailblazer, just about breaks it, backs himself away. He knows the Sen have surely got position him into the side. Tenz's cut them up and crossed them up, at least with his TP. Does Klaus want to make a go of things here? It's whiffy. Sassy, all he had to do was direct his attention, and he won the fight out himself. Up and over, still running themselves in. Shy, unfortunate with that timing, dropping it across. And the last few bullets is all it takes. Second, Sky is unleashed, but finally dropped down, but he's left in a 1v3.
Planted.
Here's the reload. Very little when it comes to the chances that he has available. Wrap himself around, hoping that maybe somebody's flanking, maybe somebody gives him that easy kill, but just now with a position, it's obvious.
Nothing to be done.
Yeah.
So one of the things that Crew are really struggling with in this situation, when Klaus backs up into CT, he waits for Kesnit to connect together, and they're hoping that they can execute a big flood defense. But Sen put a pause in the round, a really odd timing of the pause. They get Tenz into back sight, and then everyone on the attack side just holds for a moment. A bit of a pump fake, waiting to bait out something from Crew, and they do. They bait out Klaus into going slightly too aggressive. And from Crew's perspective, it looks really uncoordinated. Crew's going forwards, Kesnet's kind of baiting him, he can't get involved. But that's because, look, the SEN players are not scaling into sight. They're not taking space aggressively. They're waiting for that next move coming from their opponents and set up to punish it.
Last player standing.
Anticipating what Crew are going for really beautifully. And not as Zekken
tried.
also dominated the game against NRG playing Raze.
Tried and tested the comps. No point switching it up. Only a few weeks left of seeing Split in play, so it's not going to be committing too much time to it. With the timeout on the other side of things, it's a half by roughly from Crew. Once more putting the rifle into Kesnet's hands. It was Shy that originally had that.
Now Sassy has been applying pressure over here, as has John. So Crew are going to try to punish this player.
Well made noise. Oh, he's trying to timing it across. He's stunned up. Gonna be jumping on him. Is there any sort of follow-up? Melza just really tries to overextend. Whoa! What is that? It's second. It'll make him think twice about any aggressive play again.
It feels like every time Kesnet pops his ultimate, somebody from Sentinels is just barreling towards his face.
I mean, this kid is different. Decision making in that moment. Shy's left to do anything at all. Stunned up. Caught into the corner.
And Zekken, magnanimous enough to allow the rest of his team to pick up that final flag and build up their ults.
4 smiles.
God, he is, if not already, going to be an all-time great in this game.
Yeah.
You can just feel it in every moment of how he plays. 13-8 right now, but the pace of his decision-making.
This decision. Oh my God.
And then how he maneuvers in tough spots like that. It's just nuts.
There's no way.
A shining star of Sentinels last year, but now really the jewel in their crown.
Absolutely. Losing his jewel versus Kesnet, but quickly returned with the fire. And an advantage still held for Sentinels.
Crew seem like they want to try to force the fight. One of the big adjustments coming out of the timeout, perhaps. They wanted to force the fight over towards A. They even had a good opportunity. It's just, it all went wrong. Now this time, dropping the orb and looking to try to take the fight, and Sen just had too many players in mid. B is completely open as Crew go re-exploring. 2 trips, though, for Sen to deal with. They've only spotted the first.
Must have heard the other one, at least predicting it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been in the same position almost every round for Klaus. Every time that Klaus has played B, he's put a trip in this spot. Just not going to catch him too off guard.
Very similar to the previous round.
Yeah, this same
Ten's
pause
just
being
inserted,
put.
yeah, and just pausing, waiting for the response from Crew. This time they are going to contact up onto the angles, but it's exactly the same, and that's how the last time that Klaus ended up giving away his life with the trip broken. Now going to be some level of awareness. Smokes fading up onto the high ground. At least firing down the shots and raining down a bit of that lead. Up close. No way! Sassy contemplating it with the reload. Still decides against it. 6 bullets all it takes with John QT. Flourish on the finish.
Round in the half.
I said that Crew could not allow an opportunity for Sentinels to get into this game. And you see why. Sen have run away with it.
Yeah.
7-4. The last time Crew got a round was round 5. Sentinels dominating the early round, the mid round, getting into post plants, looking good there as well.
Where to hide?
Full momentum. Sentinels, no signs of slowing down.
I think Crew need another layer to this.
Showstopper here for Zekken. Wants to punish to get a connection! And off the back wall. Splash damaged enough. Shy was no match.
And then they just follow the path of least resistance here. And again, another duel.
I mean, the confidence that these SEN players have right now, off the charts. Needs to be a miracle. Won't be happening.
Spike down
Heat with just
A.
1. 2 left to stand. Kesnet.
Kesnet.
It's making noise, surely, up into heaven. Zelsis can hear this. The exchange of the weapons.
Zelsis is just the final player, you know, the backstop. He doesn't need to make a play at this point.
Exactly, the final win condition in the round. Post plan can still be played here. Kesnet, full wraparound. Trying to play this crossfire up, but with the trip being broken, Tens, tension diverted. Paranoia through and around, and here is that insurance policy. Zelsis syncs it up with the rest of his team. 8-4. Pure domination again.
Switching sides.
Adjustments were made, and they just ran away with it. Look at that string of rounds.
A lot of people going to be asking at the beginning of this stage, do SEN have that fire, that hunger, the desire to be the best again that's going to carry them to an international event, to any potential win? They're playing with it now.
Definitely are. I mean, a Sentinels team looking empowered. Road to redemption for this squad after missing out on Shanghai, but no, will get them to that point. And it's a vital one.
Could end up being a pivotal match. There is no team in Americas that's guaranteed. We're not like some of the other regions that already have a top team secured for champs. SEN are looking good, but they need to win games like this to prove that it's possible.
Never the pistol round. Slightest bit of util going to be used to just push away crew from the angles, and they're going to leave Tens posted.
Yeah, Tens loves fighting over A ramp. I think that's been a tendency that you can look at all throughout the way that SEN have played on Split. Ever since he swapped over to Omen, he's gonna potentially have a fight, though starts backing off as crew takes space. Probably based on that wall going up.
It's good information. I mean, John's on the other side of the map. He does give it up. Just a jump spot, maybe making a little bit too much noise there. Knows that lost control of Heaven. Gives some free reign. Is he going to be sending it forwards now into the A site? Rest of the team, bit of a tap. Heat looking for any sort of response. Look at how fast. I mean, Sentinels already with control up onto Heaven. They don't have ramp control though. They're going to be facing this one. This is a call that's being made by crew. Fast onto it now. And Mel's are still holding onto this Paranoia. Dominating this position. Pushing them away. SEN are also going to be reacting nice and quickly. Trailblazer clearing the corners. Seeing two. Spotting it up. Zekken could get his head ripped straight off here. Potentially isolated, up and alone, and Melter finally cleans him up, takes him out. Wasn't expecting that second layer of things. John QT there waiting. Now, the time ticking, options running dry and short. Crew is pure domination. Sweep their way through into the site. Sassy cannot oblige.
A nice pistol round from crew. You get to see those good retake protocols still coming through from Sentinels. They take a Heaven control, go swing through over to the screens, and then start the retake. But crew have a ramp the whole time, and Mel's positioning is really nice. He never gets a chance to use that Paranoia, which is a big piece of utility advantage for them in the post. But his positioning is just really good. He's always there to trigger some kind of A-ramp fight, and he's there on the re-push through Heaven if his team needs. A very different style to begin this one for the attack half from crew, putting a lot of focus on getting A-ramp control at the beginning of the round. Whereas it felt like Sentinels were playing mostly 1-3-1s. Zelsis would take B main, John would try to pressure over towards A, and then the three would come up the gut. This is a contact. And good diligence to check Tens.
And crew will throw a lot of that into the mix. John has not been dealt with. Classic almost getting away with it. Even in and out of the cages, surely doesn't do it. Zelsis spammed away. Will fall.
And a strange timing on timing happening over here towards B as well. And this is another one of those situations where Klaus might not want to give away the fact that he came up through B Heaven. But at this point, it might just feel like he walked through mid.
Ooh, it's precise.
These classics are doing work.
They really are. Ah, hello. Giving it up. Right click could have blessed him, but Sassy doesn't get the kill.
Making sure that they get the best possible guns into the next round. So Vandal and Bulldog saved through. Not too bad of a situation. One player on crew still had the pistol. So they'll get together a little bit of a dangerous buy. I think SEN should already anticipate that this is heading over towards A-ramp. Crew are trying to early round condition really heavily here. It's amazing to me how good the calling has been from crew. I know that they're behind. They could end up losing this series 2-0. But it's just amazing to see careers revitalized of people like Klaus, who's picked up the IGLing back again.
making some very good reads into the mid-round portion of things.
Poison orb emitting.
This round right here, though, for KRU is going to be an important obstacle. See if they can overcome it. Elza holding onto the flash. Just in case there was that refight potential by SEN. They've got it essentially for free. Flash will confirm it, making a lot of noise here. SEN are surrounding this position, and they're choosing to flood and really trying to fight this one with the util in hand. Celsius still tucks himself. Will he even be able to get out? Yes, he will. Just about dodging those bullets. Still inside the smoke, spraying away with the rifles. No kills claimed.
A lot of damage. Zeken's looking for that lurk player. You're expecting KRU to have somebody in that kind of spot. We can see that that's not the case.
Finally with the plant down.
3 players on site. That's not exactly optimal, I would say. Normally you want to be looking for a place to dominate, like A ramp or screens.
Last time KRU won that round because they had control of ramp. This time giving it up freely. Klaus, he's got a lot to do in this spot. Just shifting really around, just trying to play the timings. Backing around these walls still. Now an off angle being played, but he's cleaned up. This is methodical by Sentinels. Looking to now see if they can piece it together. Out through main, hearing it from behind. Celsius with the awareness. 1 player to stand. Melzer finally wrangling it. 4 bullets left though, and 2 players to deal with. Sticking. Tens. He got this one in the bag. Yes, he does.
Perfectly timed for Sentinels. It's difficult to do as much as they do in the retake while still playing within that 45-second timer. You know, they're trying to do a lot of stuff all at the same time. They go down ramp, they're watching for the lurker. As Celsius commits to the retake, he puts his wall back up so that Shy doesn't have that angle. They're also trying to make sure that they stop any kind of screens push. And all of that with less than a second on the clock towards the end. Things can go wrong kind of easily. They're just trying to make sure they're precise with it. So after a number of rounds of dominating towards A ramp to start, KRU are now going to lean over towards B main. Sassy's playing this pretty aggressively because it's only been Klaus here before.
Trailblazer through mid, contact plays. Sassy
Scout destroyed.
won't be punished.
But he sees all 3 and he realizes he could be.
Getting the hell out of there. Backs away. Tens now is going to be the one to take point in contact. As soon as he hears a bit of that util, he is in danger of being contacted on, but his position's being held.
I quite like inserting Klaus into this position up in mid. Getting him deep here. If you go and pressure over towards B heaven, you're never worried about your flank, and if there are any rotates, Klaus can potentially pick him up.
Shy in that spot though, but still. Send it with the util. Have that B heaven control. Zeken is very aware of this still. Tucks his head straight to the ground. Falling around here. It's lead raining down onto the Hell player. Zeken still. That's an awkward angle. Game of timings, and he ends up losing it now with only 2 players left. Tens taking a risk there in a moment, realizing he had to offset the advantage. KRU have that round win.
Superb setup by KRU. They take B main control, push Sassy back away, insert Klaus. Take some mid control. Insert Shy up there. Got the names mixed up earlier on. But once you've got Shy up in male and Klaus in B main, then as the rest of the pack comes through B heaven, the timing and the spacing is so tight. It's lovely. And SEN need to find those mid-round situations to disrupt what they're going for. You have to play disruptive on defense in this meta. That's what all the top teams are up to. Yeah. You can't just allow the attacking team to slowly take map control and then collapse on top of you. Otherwise, you get in situations like this. Even though the crossfires are good, the attackers just have it all. They're for choice. And that's actually what MTA was talking about. They're into mid and male. They had about 15 seconds where they could have found a big kill onto Shy. So there are these opportunities. It's just about reading the map perfectly. Which is impossible for you or I when we play ranked, but is incredibly feasible for these top minds of the game.
His position has been cleared, but KRU insert a lot of contact plays into their own playbook, really. Forces out a util from Sentinels. They were looking to re-clear out towards ramp. Sweeps through. Zeken's now in a very, very committed position, but maybe precisely what they ordered. Stinger in his hands. Flash too, at least for the Trailblazer. Excuse me. Spots him out. Pre-fired in. Good expectation by KRU.
Yeah, even if Kesnet had not got those 2 kills, he still had a showstopper to clean this up, so it's not going to quite work when you raise has ult online. I do just want to point out, though, for a future round, look at this cam over towards B main. I think that might be an adjustment coming out the timeout.
I've got your trail.
Allows Sentinels to stack in this direction, but the stack is not going to work out without rifles on board.
A lot of respect shown there by KRU, just committing the Seekers into it, making sure that they can clean up the round.
Yeah. Still starting the showstopper, though.
Yeah.
Which is another massive tool for being able to deal with what Sentinels are looking for. But that cam, I think, could end up changing the tide of the game a little. It's going to allow you good information. And it's going to allow you to stack over towards A if KRU start with this default towards A ramp, which is the one they've gone for most of this attack half. This time, though, not looking to begin in that direction. It might feel like that. Heat probably still going to apply the same level of utility over towards A. And here's where the cam could end up being really important. Broken right at the beginning, though. They know that John is playing B.
Trailblazer just spot under 1. It's Klaus who intentionally gets seen by it. Makes it feel like there's just the 1 player here. The rest of KRU now grouping up, including the Spike heading over into this direction.
They might be making a read here on the fact that John started over towards B, so in theory the trips should be on B as well. But John has left the trip for his team to play around on the A site, trying to spread that.
It's a tightrope that Zelsis has to walk in mid as well. Needs that mid-round information by peeking, but could easily be punished. We've seen it before.
Ten's looking for a fight, looking for information. This angle is often really good. You've got a little headshot spot as KRU commit into sight. If he swings out a little more to his left.
Flash is going to be seeing it, at least the trip pulling it back and away. Kesnet can't do anything. It tends. Full control. This is his territory up towards A ramp. Will not let anybody step up to him.
Spike down A.
Any worthy challenges. Melza finally shows up. With 15 seconds left, Spike drop down. And full committal of the bodies of Sentinels. They know that they've won this round.
Zekken sprinting over to B just in case Melza made a mad dash for the spike and managed to ult out. That's not going to be the case here. Look at that cam again, replaced into B main after 40 seconds. And then also, Ten's going for that re-push over towards A ramp was beautifully timed. Finding that mid-round timing to go and gather info, yes, but also to get this angle that I was talking about.
Right there.
Little spot. You've got the backs of players. It's difficult for them to clear that position as they're heading into the site. And Kesnet also got caught by the trip. I don't think he was expecting that to be there. Everything working for Sen. All of those adjustments. But now they go back into a different setup. Much more standard for Sen. So they use their tag timeout to get them a big round. Now they're just hoping they can clean the rest on their own.
See that jiggle. They want to punish it onto Zelsis. As I was mentioning, this mid-round information is really important. The meta we're shifting into, you've got to take risks if you want to give your team that info to work on. Zelsis wants nothing to do with it. He's all the way back and around. Here's a re-clear. Sentinels actually making those adjustments. So the flash didn't connect onto any available player. It is going to be heard by the KRU players, but at least they're taking that position.
Looking really active here on defense side, Sentinels. And without B main control, it really limits the options that Klaus has to work with as a caller. He himself is trying to take A ramp to mitigate that.
Yeah. Cam spots it. There's Klaus. Doesn't really orchestrate too much. Klaus knows that there's a cam active. He's going to be hearing it. And there it is, finally spotted, removed. The rest of his team now following up right behind him, but as anchoring players straight into the fight and into the fray. Do you dare really step up to this challenge? Sean QT, he beckons them in.
Cancelled the ult from
30
10,
seconds left.
realizing that they weren't committing to the A site. He goes back over to B.
So a bit of a pump fake of their own by KRU. Paranoia sweep in, now with the satchels up and over and around, just missing it. John QT, surely you don't survive in this spot. This guy is still staying active and in the fight. 2 drop down. He's made it so much more damn difficult with time against them. KRU stand a chance. This guy's working magic, wrapping around them and no time left to work with. It's all Sentinels and all the IGL. He set the stage of that one.
What a beast John QT is. He's an animal. One of the biggest reasons that Sentinels are even in the position they're in. The acquisition of this guy from Tier 2. How did you find a player who's so damn good? And he's also able to call at an elite level. But I mean, just his timing and movement and his rifling, it's all spectacular.
Don't get in my way.
And certainly these big ults online, the defensive setup is going to be shifting and moving. Look at this round here. You heard the trim is pulled back, actually, not broken. It's John QT setting up the unbreakable one, puts it back up in place.
Yeah, that's very nicely done. And Tens is also on the B line with his operator.
So there's a lot of layers right now to Sentinels. I don't want to hold this. And Zekken spots a lot of info. Doesn't want any part of it. Backs himself away, but Sassy, how's he getting away with it? Repositions back. He's going to be tucking into an anchored position into the A site. And KRU left to really just ponder, wonder, what the hell do we do?
Normally you can pause in A heaven here and threaten that you might be going through vents to B, but are you really going to do that against a pit?
Pit, yeah.
I just don't see how that's going to happen.
They're all getting funneled out through spawn. They've only got John QT holding this one, Cage.
Sentinels know that they have to go into the A site here, and these positions are immaculate.
Collapsed and ready, Zekken. He falls, TPing around, dodging that paranoia, this time not getting away with it. John QT still there, hearing that drop down, a few bullets. Impeccable game sense. Just expecting that player there. Damage done to Klaus. He's going to be able to get healed up. This post-line positioning of the KRU players isn't ideal. Everybody's stacked up over towards the site.
But Tens is also retaking this with an op. Unless they get given a pick right off the beginning, I could see Sen not even wanting to opt in.
Yeah. Chances, but unlikely.
Felt like their defensive positioning was immaculate, but the shots just didn't get hit. Tens is going to send a paranoia. They're going for it.
There's a lot. Holding for the swing. Heat tucked into position. The Benji Fishy spot.
Screen down.
And they wanted to send it just for one.
Yeah.
KRU are going to be able to get out without dying to this. So yeah, after all of the incredible moves that John was able to put on in the previous round, his teammates just couldn't quite deliver from similar spots. Sassy anchoring the same kind of area, couldn't work around that angle as well. Oh, what a shot that was, though, to shut down Zekken. Beautiful.
So tense between these two.
Still playing it across the same line over here towards B main.
There.
Shy normally playing this one with quite a lot of discipline, though. Unlikely to go wandering in alone.
Shadows traveling.
Deep Orb committed just so that he can potentially get through that. There's almost a punish inside. Zelsis. Double digits of health, drop down to 10.
He's been
Through the
jiggling
wall.
it at the start of almost every round.
Yeah.
They've been trying to catch that shot onto him.
Almost there. Re-clear with a Trailblazer. It's very active from both of these teams. Not wasting any time. Set up now for a bit of an explosion.
If the hit goes into Tens, he's going to be hard-pressed to get
Zekken with
value
the
from
ult
this op.
too. They're going to be satcheling through and around the flash. No connection! Zekken! Sent it flying through. Two return, John QT.
I have retrieved the spike.
He just snaps. Deals with any sort of intruders. And that angle is filthy by Tens.
Oh, that's so good.
Match point.
It looked like they weren't quite aware that there was an operator into B. Kesnit's first peek, not expecting to get sniped by that. But the ult from Zekken, such a game changer.
Perfect.
He throws it in and gets two, and these are the people supposed to follow up, get deep into sight.
One enemy remaining.
Get Sen up to match point. Their record's not great. We haven't talked about it too much because they still have so many championship points. Maybe it won't end up mattering this season, but only 4-3. They'd love to get a win here. A 5-3 record. much better chance of getting into playoffs and fighting for one of those top 3 spots at Champions instead of slinking in 4th place.
Yeah, you don't want that. It's nice to have as a backup policy, but you want to fight for your own chance in the playoffs. You got to make it there in the first step. They've had a difficult road. Second half of things for their own season.
Poison's off.
But one more round will do it.
Scout destroyed.
Put a win in the column. 5-3 be in those standings. And they're up against some heavy hitters. KRU and SEN both.
I've got your trail.
Seekers by Heat. Attempting to fake that this is like an attempt over towards B, where the rest of the crew creeping and crawling up through the angles, up through ramp, spamming away. Zelsis punish at a jump spot, nasty.
Exactly where.
Any players left to meet him? What is the call now being made for them? With the Neuro Theft, they spotted it. Now the Heat has gained access over towards B. Heaven and a pivot is in sight. Kesnit is out for a spawn! It means the match there a second. Drops him. Down now to just 2. John QT will not get away with it. Very committed in terms of the positioning, so KRU are still here. Active in the round, active in the map.
2 massive kills there from the players that you look towards on KRU to deliver results. Kesnit and Heat. Heat was under a lot of pressure. Like you said, he was faking over towards B Heaven. And that's a great one as well. From the player on the bottom of the scoreboard, only Klaus's 5th kill. But a beauty onto Zelsis as he was jump spotting. You see Heat there though, under enormous amounts of pressure. Paranoia being thrown at him while he was in hell. Delivers. The gap, this whole match feels like it's been 2 away. Like KRU are always there, but they're always 2 behind. They're gonna need an explosive end to take us to overtime.
On the precipice. A difficult team to tangle with. It's John QT, stuck close. Cam's going to be seeing it. More little feeties. And a satchel through. Surely they'll commit into this one still. He is cleaned up. Removing the IGL might make things just a little bit easier, but a post-plant positioning here with a Neuro Theft reveals all for SEN. Heat with a plan, going to be pushed back. Along with that, it's going to be the vulnerability wrapping all the way around as the flank occurring. Seekers now popped off. Sweep their way in through the site. Maybe points them exactly to where to spam to. If this pit goes down, it could be brutal. KRU, it all stands on this. They're going to stand on business, land the shots. That's all it comes down to right now. Sentinels in control. Perched right up and still this plant not down. Klaus has to commit it. Trailblazer through and there's the connection. Stun in sight. Shy already dropped down onto half HP. And it's a slow squeeze from every single angle. Tens remain high ground position. They've got a full wraparound, but into the pit. It comes down to the timing. Shy, shorty in hand. The series to bank on. Shots going wide! And with the pit falls, Klaus forced to do the most. Potentially there, but not available. Tens